Welcome to the Bison Information Network. I'm Mackenzie Stockwell, and tonight I'll be taking you through the latest in campus and local news. Stay tuned. We've made it to the home stretch before Thanksgiving break begins. There's less than a week until the break begins. There will be no classes held from Wednesday the 22nd into that weekend. We'll return to our regular class schedule on Monday the 27th. To help you both survive and thrive over the break, here are some ideas to improve your short vacation in terms of productivity. Setting up a Friendsgiving will give you a chance to catch up with your closest friends at a cute potluck. Creating a list of academic goals you want to accomplish over the break could also be helpful. This is a great time to get ahead or get caught up. Finally, taking advantage of those leftovers and bringing the free food back to campus will help you save up on groceries. In the holiday spirit, Broadway Square's tree lighting ceremony is just around the corner. Next Tuesday the 21st from 5:30 until 9 p.m., Fargo will kick off its winter celebrations and activities, starting with lighting the 32-foot-tall tree. There will be a countdown preceding this, led by Santa and Mrs. Claus. After the tree is lit, many fun activities will begin, including horse-drawn carriage rides, live holiday music, sing-along carols, reindeer, s'mores kits, and local food and beverage vendors. If the weather is cooperative, the ceremony will be followed by the opening of the Shields skating rink located on Broadway Square. Regular season hours will begin Wednesday, November 22nd. Speaking of skating, NDSU's Wellness Center is partnering with the Lights Ice Rink in West Fargo. The rink has been reserved exclusively for NDSU students and staff. If you need transportation to the rink and/or skate rentals, these will be provided by NDSU if you register and submit a $5 fee through the Wellness website. The registration deadline is December 1st at noon, so get signed up quickly to ensure a spot in this skating extravaganza. If you don't need transportation or skates, there is no need to register, and you can attend the event for free. The skating spectacular will be held on Sunday, December 3rd from 1 until 3 p.m. To celebrate this holiday season, the Christkindl Market will officially open this weekend. There will be 4 days of festivities at this European-inspired family event. The event is a winter wonderland full of s'mores roasting on an open fire and the scent of pine nipping at your nose from Christmas trees surrounding the space. There are small gift shops set up outside, and inside the event, you'll find many vendors, along with a German beer hall, which comes from a collaboration with the Drucker Brewing Company. The event will take place in the Fargo Civic Center this weekend and next, opening on the 17th. On the topic of holidays, today is a big day for Zack and Cody fans. For many in our generation, Zack and Cody was a household staple of Disney Channel. In one of the episodes, the boys make a reservation at an Italian restaurant where they're told that they can reserve a spot at 7:30 on November 16th of 2023. At that time, the boys respond, "But that's in 15 years." Well, the 15 years are up, and today they'd finally be able to eat at this fancy restaurant. I'll be celebrating with some Italian food tonight. If you're looking for an on-campus job and have a passion for videography, photography, TV, writing, editing, graphic design, or any kind of content creation, BIN is in the process of revamping our brand, and we're looking for other creative people to join our team. The hours are very flexible and pay is $15 per hour. If you're interested in joining, don't hesitate to reach out and contact us through emailing generalmanager@ndsubin.com. More information can be found on ndsubin.com. Coming up after the break, Logan will bring you the latest in sports news on campus. Stick around.
Founded in 1985, the Missouri Valley Football Conference has established a tradition of FCS football excellence. Competing at the highest level of NCAA Division I, student athletes at its 10 institutions demonstrate character, passion, and integrity as they grow as a student, an athlete, and a citizen. The Missouri Valley Football Conference, where leaders are shaped and champions are forged.
One kid, one mentor, plus one moment. can unlock limitless potential. 30,000 youth are waiting. Be there for one of them. Become a big today.
At NDSU, we're going to teach you about how to work with people. We're going to teach you about relationships with people and how to manage those relationships successfully, whether that's at work, whether that's at home. We have majors in agricultural communication, strategic communication, journalism, and management communication. We have students who have graduated who are doing all kinds of different things, everything from marketing to writing content to development to career coaching. We also, of course, have people doing more traditional things like news reporter or working for TV stations. The faculty members in our department advise undergraduate students. We think that it's important for faculty to develop relationships with our undergrads. We have an advisory board, and that consists of people in the community who are like local business people, and we try to make connections with those people so that literally we know the person that they should talk to about a job. You can't be in the world if you can't communicate. My recommendation is that you take some communication classes at the very least if you can. Even better, do a major in communication.
Welcome into the final Bison Sports Report before the Thanksgiving holidays. Starting off with the football team, it was do or die time for the Bison as they were reeling from their third loss on the season. Their rebound opportunity would not be an easy one as they hosted an 11th ranked Southern Illinois team. NECU started with the ball and quickly moved down the field with Cam Miller scoring on an 8-yard run. However, the Salukis would answer right back with a touchdown drive of their own. It was then Griffin Croson time, as the senior nailed a 25 and 44-yarder to give the Bison a 13-10 lead going into the half. It was not a half of football that NECU was proud of, but they were glad to have the lead going into it. And while the first half was a struggle, the second half showed no signs of it. NECU would fly out of the gate, scoring on their first drive of the long touchdown run by Tamarick Williams. And it was all Bison from that point on, as the Salukis would be outscored 21-0 in the second half, giving the Bison a statement 34-10 win. Cam Miller was once again a rock for the Bison offense, stacking up almost 300 yards of total offense by himself. Tamarick Williams may have only gotten 8 touches, but he made them count with 2 touchdowns on the ground. And Jake Kava wreaked havoc on defense with 2.5 sacks on the day. Now, after the dominant win, many are hoping that the Bison are in. Both the Missouri Valley being an absolute mess, nothing is for certain. What many can agree on, though, is that a Bison win this Saturday would almost guarantee a playoff berth. It all comes down to this, though, as NEC will travel to Iowa to face a number 22 ranked Northern Iowa team also looking to make a playoff case. The game will kick off this Saturday at 4, so many of the field might already be decided. You can watch the game of the season on ESPN Plus or ABC North Dakota. And with football nearing playoff season, that can only mean that basketball is well underway, and the Bison had 2 games this past week. On Saturday, the team took their 3-game win streak on the road against number 8 Creighton team, who was expected to run the Bison out of the gym. And the expectations were spot on, as it was all Blue Jays from the tip-off, with the Bison falling behind by 10 going into the half. The Bison shot average in the first half, but had no answers on defense for a Creighton team that was shooting 60% from the field and nearly 50% from 3. NEC would try to rally, but the second half was even worse for the Bison, as their offense would fall apart, allowing Creighton to turn the game into a 60-89 blowout. Damari Wheeler-Thomas was one of the lone reasons to applaud the Bison, with his 15 points leading the Bison on the night, and Bowden Skunberg got after it on the boards, pulling down 6. Now, after the expected yet brutal loss, NEC would have a chance to get back on the winning track against UC Davis. Both teams would struggle, with neither cracking 40 going into the half. And while NDSU shot UC Davis, they were the ones down by 9 at the half. And it was once again a case of the offense breaking down, with NDSU slumping to shooting 33% from the field. The Bison would limp to the finish line, losing once again with a final score of 53-68. Bison fans have reason for concern as Bowden Skunberg shot a brutal 4 for 17 from the field, his worst since November of last year. And Damari Wheeler-Thomas had a solid night once again with 9 points and 3 boards, but it just was not enough for the Bison. Now, after the humbling stretch, the Bison will need to get together and find a way to energize their offense. They will get their first chance to do so tonight as they travel to Missoula to take on Montana. The game will tip off at 9 and can be watched on ESPN Plus or listened to on 107.9 The Fox. The women also played 2 games this past week. After a tough start to the season against a ranked Creighton team, the Bison badly needed a free win, and they would get a great opportunity to do so as they welcomed Jamestown to the Shield Center. The Bison started off red hot, jumping out to a 10-point lead, and they continued to pour it on in the second quarter, heading into the half up 48-25. Many fans were already impressed, noticing a night and day difference, but it wouldn't stop there, as the Bison would turn it up a notch, throwing up 64 in the second half, embarrassing Jamestown 112-59 to put the doubters to rest. Heaven Hamlin turned around and put up a star performance, going perfect from 3. And Elle Evans continues to shoot the lights out, putting up 14 points, and Taryn Hamlin made the most of her minutes, tallying 10 points and 3 boards in her first significant time. After the easy win, it was time to get back to reality, though, as the Bison would travel to take on a tough Minnesota team. The first quarter was close, with the Bison only being down by 6, but that second quarter was the difference, with the Bison being shut down, only scoring 7. NEC would be down 19-41 at the half, and faced with a tall task of staging an almost impossible comeback. But it was not to be, as NEC would only manage to keep the deficit from growing down the stretch, dropping their second game of the season 53-75. Heaven Hamlin had a strong performance, recording her first double-double of the young season, and Elle Evans was unusually cold, only going 4 for 15 from the field to finish with 11 points. Now, after a trying start to the season, the Bison should have an easier road ahead of them, as they won't play a ranked or Power 5 team until mid-December. The Bison will get a chance to redeem themselves this Monday when they head to Greeley to face Northern Colorado. The game will tip off at 7 and can be listened to on Bison 1660. With November at the midway point, the volleyball season is nearing its end, but the Bison were still extremely active this past week, playing 3 games. They would start the 3-game week on Thursday as they hosted Kansas City for senior night, but Kansas City would play the part of spoiler perfectly, running the table against the Bison as they took all 3 sets. NEC did try to rally in the third and final set, but they were unable to steal it. Allie Hinsey balled out for her senior night, recording 11 kills to lead the Bison, and Allie Barth tried to assist her as she would be second on the team with 10 kills. After a rough showing in what could have been their last home game of the year, the Bison looked to rally against South Dakota, and while the bus would travel south, it felt like the team had stayed behind in Fargo, as the Bison were humiliated badly. The Coyotes took all 3 sets with ease, with the third set being a 9-25 blowout. In a part of the season where the Bison should be firing on all cylinders, it looked like they were lost on the court. Allie Hinsey did her best, recording over a third of the team's total kills, and Kelly Johnson tried to set something up for the Bison, recording 20 assists in the effort. With 2 embarrassing shutouts now in the rearview mirror, the Bison hoped they had gotten all of their struggles out of their system. They would have a chance to prove they were past it in their final regular season game against North Dakota. But it was once again a poor start for NSU, as they dropped the first 2 sets by 8 and 9 points, meaning they had now lost 8 straight sets. Yet NSU would stop the streak there, taking the next 2 in dominant fashion. This was the NSU team we had seen during the win streak, but they were unable to complete the comeback, losing the 5th and final set 7-15. Ariana Bloom led the near comeback, with her 14 kills being a massive help, and Allie Hinsey was consistent as always, putting up 13 kills in the near win. And Morgan Middleton had a breakout performance with 8 kills and 2 aces, highlighting her day. The Bison will be forced to get back to winning form or go home as they open up Summit League Championship play this Sunday. They will take on that same South Dakota team that humiliated them, so that might be just the incentive that they need. The game will start at 5 and can be watched on Midcoast Sports or the Summit League Network. In wrestling news, the Bison were busy this weekend, hosting their annual Bison Open, welcoming teams from all across the region and country. The Bison would not only have 1 champion on the day, but 2, as both Gavin Drexler and Max Peterson claimed titles for their respective weight classes. Drexler, fresh off his first national ranking earlier in the week at 33rd, would be backing it up with sweeping the 141-pound bracket. The sweep included an impressive victory over number 24 Vance Vombar of Minnesota in the championship match. Peterson claimed the other individual title for the Bison in the 149-pound bracket, picking up 2 upset victories, one over teammate Kellen March, who's ranked 11th, and the other over Minnesota's number 17, Drew Roberts, in the championship. Several other Bison would come close, finishing the top 3 in their respective brackets, closing out a successful weekend for a young Bison team needing a little bit of momentum. The Bison will put that momentum to the test as they travel to Oklahoma this Sunday. The match will begin at noon and can be watched on ESPN+. And finally, a little bit of unexpected sports news as the baseball team has just announced their schedule for the 2024 season. This season will feature an 8-game stint in California to open the year before heading up north to face Oregon State. Other highlights on the schedule include a 2-game series against LSU, a 1-game stop in Lincoln to play Nebraska, and games against Big Ten teams in Minnesota and Iowa. The Bison will play 53 games in all across 10 different states, with 16 of them being slated here in Fargo. The schedule will kick off February 16th, but will not feature a home game until early April. So for now, baseball fans, you'll have to have a little bit of patience. The season will certainly be here before you know it. Well, that is all I have for this week in Bison Sports. Henry, it's been unusually warm for this part of the year. Can we expect that trend to remain, or is it going to actually start feeling like winter in Fargo?
Thanks, Logan. It was windy today on DSU. I mean, seriously windy. Temperature of 33 degrees with a dew point of 29 degrees and humidity of 65 degrees, with winds coming from the north at 24 miles an hour with gusts up to 31 miles per hour. Yeesh! Moving to our hour by hour, we could see here it will start to cool down throughout the night, and then it will warm up just a tiny bit once it's 6 a.m., sorry. With mostly clear skies getting to mostly cloudy and scattered clouds by the morning. Going to our skycast, we had a total of 9 hours and 20 minutes of total sky. Total sun, sorry, with sunrise at 7:31 a.m. and sunset at 4:51 p.m. Moving on to our mooncast, we had a waxing crescent tonight, November 13th. We had our last moon we had was a new moon, and on November 20th we're expecting our first quarter moon. Moving on to today's almanac. You can see here today's temps, we had a high of 44 and a low of 23. Average temps on this day in the past were a high of 46 and a low of 28. And record temps, a high of 73 in 1978 and a low of -7 in 1951. Moving on to today's temperatures, the country is starting to finally cool down in DSU. We can see here up in this, the northern part of the country, we're seeing cooler temperatures, as well as in California and the southwest, and even the southeast. We're seeing a lot of cooler temperatures across the board. Going to our rain, we can see here we're not expecting much rain up in the Midwest, but we are expecting a lot of rain down in Florida, up in the Appalachians, and here in the Southwest, and in, up along the West Coast up here. Moving to our 7-day forecast, our first 3 days of it, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're expecting a continuing of the warmish weather we've had so far, with sun on Friday and Saturday, with highs of 46 and 49. Sunday will warm up, but we're going to lose that sun and we're going to replace it with some rain. I know we don't like it. Lows are going to stay in those 20 degrees. Moving on to our 7-day forecast, rest of our forecast, it will start cooling down. We're seeing winter coming at an alarming rate, NDSU. By Wednesday, we're expecting 22 degrees, and on Thanksgiving, if you're staying in town, you better get ready for that 20-degree weather we're expecting, with a low of 11. Thankfully, on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we are expecting a little bit of sun. Well, that's all I got for your weather report, NDSU. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and remember, have a good time.
Well, I will definitely be out and about to enjoy those couple of warm days, but I am definitely thankful that I will not be here for that brutal 20 degrees on Thanksgiving. That's all we have here at the Bison Information Network. I'm Logan Gettenberg signing off for everyone in the studio. Have a nice Thanksgiving and take care.